Are you ready to learn more about the Salesforce AppExchange and what it means for you, an awesome admin? Welcome to Expert Corner, where I sit down with Salesforce experts and we deep dive into products, features, tools, and resources specifically for you, Salesforce admin. My name is Lan Reimel, and today I will be joined by Sharon Klardie. Sharon is a Senior Director of Operations on the AppExchange, and she's got some great insights to share with us about how admins can use the AppExchange. Before we get started, I'd like to share a forward-looking statement. Please make all purchasing decisions based on currently available technology. Okay, let's go meet Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So I'm really excited to have you here to talk to our Salesforce admins about all sorts of awesome stuff that you've been working on. But I know a lot of members of our community know you already, but there might be some people viewing who don't know you already. And I'd love for them to get to know a little bit about you and your journey. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your Salesforce journey?
Sure. Now, so everyone I haven't met, hello, I'm Sharon Klardie. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for 12 years now, so quite a long time. I'm a mom to two boys who are currently 11 and 6, and I just love technology. I've been in technology my entire career, and I really fell in love with Salesforce back in 2010 when the company I was working for got acquired, and who acquired us always rolled out Salesforce for every company they acquired. And Salesforce was the first platform where I, as a user who has many big ideas, felt empowered where I could actually make those ideas happen. I didn't need to talk to a developer. I was able to create processes and actually execute my vision using a piece of technology. And I was just completely blown away. And so I was hooked back then, and I started connecting with the Trailblazer community, which the heart of Salesforce is the Trailblazer community. And I met so many amazing individuals. I actually ran the New Hampshire user group for 7 years. If you're not part of the community, I'm going to give a big plug here that you definitely want to connect with individuals in the Trailblazer community. User groups are happening. I think some are starting to happen in person, depending on where they are in the geos, and many are happening virtually. So you can actually expand your reach in your network by attending user groups that are happening virtually in locations where you're not, which I just think is a super fantastic outcome of the world that we're in today. So my journey has been long. I've been almost every role that you can think of in the Salesforce world, except for developer. So I've been a consultant. I've worked for an ISV partner. I've built an internal product that was used at a company. I've been an accidental admin. That's where I started. So I think those perspectives have really helped me along in my journey to just kind of have those different points of view of like how Salesforce impacts all of our lives.
Awesome. So you have had, I know you were, in the community and contributed a lot and participated quite a bit with the community. And I love those shout outs to getting involved with your local community groups or virtual community groups across the world. So then you joined Salesforce, and I love your stories about some of the projects that you've worked on and the things that you've learned along the way. And now you've joined Salesforce and you're at Salesforce now. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at Salesforce and what's top of mind for you and what you're working on?
Certainly. So I've been at Salesforce for a little over 4 years now. The entire time I've been at Salesforce, I've been on the AppExchange team. So I'm all about, connecting individuals with solutions. And I think AppExchange, that's really the heart of what AppExchange is trying to do. When I started at Salesforce, it was to lead the Salesforce Labs program, which many of you might have a lab solution in your Salesforce instance or have played around with one. If not, we'll talk about that a little more later and how you can get started. My role has evolved on the AppExchange team, where I now lead operations and strategic programs. So one of those strategic programs is Salesforce Labs. But I get to be lucky and work with every member on AppExchange, really focusing on our people on the team, planning for this year and in the future, and then strategic initiatives as they come up.
So, of course, I love that Salesforce Labs shout out. We will talk about it a little bit more. But, I'm interested, you have this big view now of AppExchange. You're working on a lot of different AppExchange programs and people that engage with AppExchange. And Salesforce admins are really the front line for technology at a lot of their companies, just like you were at your company. How do you see, like, what are some things that you see with how admins are actually using the AppExchange or engaging with the AppExchange? Like, what are some of the typical ways that you see admins, looking for apps, or the types of apps they're looking for, or how they're bringing AppExchange apps to their companies?
That's a great question. So, many of the admins I've talked with, and when I put on my former admin hat and how I used AppExchange before joining Salesforce, when we think about our role as an admin, it's really about finding solutions to business challenges, right? And how you approach that can be, I'm going to build something using the low code tools that Salesforce offers. I can build something that's custom code, or you can go look into the ecosystem and see what others have already contributed. So working with our partner ecosystem or with Salesforce Labs solutions. So when admins are kind of approaching those problems, when you're kind of have this business solution that's a challenge that's presented to you, thinking about that build versus buy versus use a community contribution is part of that evaluation. And so AppExchange is one of the great ways that you can do that evaluation. And we see admins, using solutions across all of the industries out there, all of the different business challenges. Some really popular ones are like the IT and dev tools. Reports and dashboards are a big driver, looking at starter packs, something that can help you get started fast. And then like full-blown app solutions. If you have, say a need to do, e-signature integration into your solution, there are partners for that. You've IT telephony that you need to solve. There are partners for that. So those are, there's just endless categories and partner solutions out on AppExchange, but the AppExchange site itself is built with some really powerful recommendations based off of our knowledge of you. When you log into AppExchange, your browsing history, we can surface up recommendations to make finding solutions easier for admins.
I love that focus that you talked about on solutions, how admins are really often in the driver's seat of like looking for solutions, finding solutions. Something that comes to mind for me is as an admin at an organization, you might uncover business problems that are in need of a solution, right? And it might be, you talked about some of these different dev tools people are getting on AppExchange, for example. I think a great tool, the AppExchange becomes a great tool for admins when you're able to bring back solution options. So it might be, custom build in-house with X type of budget, AppExchange solution with X budget, these kinds of different options. Then admins are really in that kind of driver's seat of presenting some solution options and then helping deliver on those solutions.
Yeah, exactly right. Like it's not a one size fits all based off of your organization, the skill sets at your organization, the budget that you have available, and how the tool is going to be used, like what you're solving for a business problem. If it needs continual updates, if you really want to have regular releases or have support for that, those are things that can influence your decision on whether or not it's something you want to build in-house or if it's something that you want to engage with a partner ecosystem for.
That was one of my very first AppExchange story when I was an admin. This is about 14 years ago. And I had just discovered the AppExchange, and we had a need to make kind of a bunch of document templates. And this is before we had some of the capabilities we have today. And so I evaluated some different AppExchange solutions, and I brought back to my org, we're going to use Conga. That was the one that I had, Conga merged at the time, was the one that I had evaluated as like, this is going to be a solution that'll be a fix. And that maintenance piece that you mentioned was such a huge part of why I advocated for that solution. Because I did look at, we could hire an SI to build this specific need for us, but then we don't have anyone in-house who can maintain that. So we're going to have to hire that person back again, or hire other SIs back again, or other contractors back again. And because we were a very small group, we didn't have a developer at the time. And, it was really meaningful for us to be able to say, okay, we're going to go with this AppExchange solution. It has that long-term maintenance plan. It's got those regular updates. And also as an admin, it was a great opportunity for me to help lead us towards a solution, even if it was a solution that I was not building.
No, that's exactly right. Sometimes the best solution is a partner solution. It's going to fit and check those boxes. And other times the right fit is, something of your own creation. And just going through an intentional, meaningful exercise to evaluate what's right for your business, in the situation that you're in. And checking out new solutions on AppExchange, and me personally putting on like my little bit of my geek hat, like it's fun. It's fun to see what else others have created, in the ecosystem, and kind of exploring what the art of the possible is.
I always think about it too. If you're doing an AppExchange solution for something or evaluating one as an admin, it doesn't mean that that's something you couldn't build necessarily, right? It's just expanding the scope of how you think about the solutions you're adding for your org. So, whether or not, and we're going to talk about this in a moment, but there's some AppExchange packs, for example, that are things that most admins can build. Like if it's dashboards, for example, right? That's many admins know how to build dashboards. They have that skill set, but like, how are you, using your time in using tools that are out there? That's like one of the greatest admin skill sets is to pick the right tool for the job. And sometimes it's an AppExchange job.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
So, time is our scarcest resource. Like, I think as humans, and I think everyone can agree. So if there is, a criteria that you're going to have for evaluating, also understanding, how much time can we save is a part of the value of what you're doing. Or can I take what somebody else did and use my time block that I have allocated to this initiative and take that and bring it to the next level? So can I up level what somebody else has done? And then I'm that much further down to reaching the solution that's going to solve what my, the business problem that I'm facing.
And speaking of AppExchange apps that maybe admins might want to explore and continue to build on in their own orgs, can you tell us a little bit about Salesforce Labs? And I know we've mentioned it a few times, Salesforce Labs and how admins should think about Salesforce Labs apps.
Yeah, so Salesforce Labs have been around since the inception of AppExchange, so since 2006. These are solutions that are created by employees at Salesforce, and they share them on AppExchange for free for anyone to use. Many of them are open sourced on our GitHub repository. And these can be anything from reports and dashboard packs. Those are some of our most popular solutions. They can be components, maybe a utility or a widget that's very laser focused. Or it can be something that is just showcasing the art of the possible with multiple technologies at Salesforce. So like when we think about, all of the different tools that Salesforce has to offer, there's a lot that we can do with the Salesforce platform. And sometimes it's really beneficial to look at how somebody else is approaching, how do we connect two things together? How could maybe bots and another piece of Salesforce technology work together? And seeing some of the inspiration from what employees create and share, where you can look at the source code, you can learn from it. It might not actually solve a business problem that you have, but what I found when talking with Trailblazers is even just exploring what other people who are passionate about the platform create, it can give you ideas on how you might solve a problem that you might not have thought of before. So what the solution the lab solution that you check out might not be one that's going to solve the problem today, but it might give you the idea for how to solve the problem tomorrow. And so if, anyone really wants to be engaged in how you can use the Salesforce platform and find either solutions to your problem today, maybe a future problem you don't know that you have, or you just want to have some fun with some technology, lab solutions are on AppExchange. We have over 400 of them now. So the program is continuing to grow year over year with new employees creating solutions on, new different pieces of technology. Or just kind of leveling up what they've done because they have this creative energy they want to share with the community. And like they are passionate about technology and they want to share that. And Salesforce Labs program is a way that they can do that.
I love Salesforce Labs apps. I think, you mentioned just even browsing Salesforce Labs apps. And for those admins on the video right now who have not explored AppExchange at all before, this is all new to you, just to provide some foundational knowledge here. You can install Labs apps in your sandboxes and in your developer orgs. So if you're not quite sure, I think I would recommend doing that. And I think even if you're not ready to maybe put one in a sandbox, there's, Labs apps are free, developer orgs are free. So if you want to explore some apps or even just learn how to install a component and maybe work on updating that component, things like that. It's a really great tool to get into your free developer edition environment, get some free Labs apps in there and just have fun. You can't break it, right? And so have fun exploring those apps. And then you might find one that either teaches you something and gives you some ideas for your org, or maybe one that you want to explore installing in Sandbox and seeing if it's a fit for your company.
Yeah. And +1 to the developer org and Sandbox, those are always first. We do not install lab solutions in production first. You always want to check them out, make sure you know what you get and how it fits for you. One of the questions we get a lot about Salesforce Labs is, are they official Salesforce products? And the answer is no. These are as-is solutions offered by employees, often open sourced on our GitHub. So you can't pick up the phone and call support like you can with Service Cloud or any other products that you're buying from Salesforce. What you can do, though, is engage with the community. Many of these solutions, you can look to your left and to your right in the virtual world, and there's somebody else who's using it who might have customized it. Many of our labs builders will engage with trailblazers, but it's not their day job. So I just want to make sure everyone does know kind of labs is a passion project for our employees to kind of share their creativity and their expertise with the world. And there can add a lot of value to your org and your role as an admin, but they're not official supported products. So if you have a very business critical need and you see a lab solution, part of your criteria should be, do I want to look for a partner solution that does give paid support with regular updates, or do we want to use the lab solution? Because sometimes even if a lab solution does solve your business challenge, it might not be the right fit for you for what your organization needs. And we love it when it is a fit because it gives us so much joy to see customers using lab solutions to solve their business problems. We also know the program is an open source as is community driven exercise, and that's not always going to be a fit.
Right. And I think that that's incredibly important to call out. I know for myself, I feel like when I was an admin, I spent, and even at Salesforce, I spent a lot of times with Labs apps in kind of that exploratory learning idea generation space. So installing them in dev orgs, and it can give you sometimes frameworks for something you might build in-house, or give you ideas for SIs to work with. And maybe, like you're saying, a paid app on AppExchange that might have a support structure that closely mirrors your organization's needs. When you're looking at the AppExchange, I know our AppExchange has been growing a ton, especially over the last few years. There's a lot of really great apps and solutions on there. There's a lot of activity on the AppExchange. And Sharon, what have you seen as trends and popular shifts in apps that might be interesting for our admins?
So I know the data I know best is the Salesforce Labs data, but even just in general, we just hit 10 million installs recently on AppExchange, which was incredibly exciting to just know that this ecosystem is providing so much value to admins across the world. We're seeing trends, in different industry verticals. So like industry vertical solutions becoming up and coming in value. As new products come into the Salesforce space, those are blooming ecosystems around them as well. So as you can look at things like Commerce Cloud and MuleSoft and all other, Slack and Tableau, there's a lot of really exciting opportunities for new solutions to be offered to the world. And so we're starting to see a lot of momentum there. Specifically for labs, by far, the most popular area is reports and dashboards. And that really actually makes a lot of sense to me, because when you think about installing a report or a dashboard, it is meant to be 100% customizable. It is the starter pack. It's a template to say, if an employee has worked a lot around, how do we drive adoption of Salesforce? What are some of the metrics that we want to look at to make sure that, if we buy Salesforce and we're implementing it, that, it's not just if you, build it, they will come. That's not the reality of life. It was a great movie, with Field of Dreams, but it's just not the reality in the Salesforce world with end users. So you actually do need to be intentional in looking at that. And so with Adoption Dashboard Pack, you can see that data and then customize it for your organization, because maybe you look at users a little bit differently, or you want to segment the dashboards, and expand upon them in, slightly different ways, but you didn't have to stare at a blank screen to do it. You had some initial guideposts to say, this is what the, Salesforce employee who created that many years ago, I will add, the dashboard pack has been one of the oldest solutions on AppExchange, and it's still valuable today, where it's adding value to admins, especially new admins who are launching Salesforce at their organization. If you install that solution, you can start to right out of the gate, start tracking adoption of users, and then evolve that as your business evolves and grow it. So reports and dashboards are a fantastic way to get started on AppExchange. And Labs has, I believe, 25 plus different report and dashboard packs out there.
Wow, 25 plus. That's amazing. I knew reports and dashboards were popular. I didn't realize we had so many reports and dashboard solutions. That's awesome.
And some of them have fun names like Clean Your Room, or, and some are very specific around, billing or orders, like they're very laser focused on a very, niche topic. And so there's usually something for everyone.
I love a Salesforce Labs dashboard pack too, because you can install it and then you can make those, last 15% adjustments to make it just right for you. Right. So for me, it always gave me a lot of ideas about the types and formatting of reports that other people might use. So I didn't kind of keep creating the same types of reports over and over. So it opens up the creativity a little bit, gives you some foundation, saves you a bunch of time. And then I would always go in and say, okay, I'm going to, do my last 10 to 15% of editing on this dashboard to make it exactly fine-tuned for my needs. But you were talking about earlier, time is our greatest resource. I found it really useful to save some time with that dashboard creation.
Another area that will help admins save time, and I hypothesize, I can't predict, but I hypothesize we'll see many new lab solutions in this space, is flow templates. So, creating flow is such a powerful tool for admins. So, using these business processes, but staring at that blank screen sometimes can be like a little, like, oh, what do I want to put here? What do I want to put there? So for us on the labs team, we're really encouraging employees to create new flow templates that will help admins get started faster. So that you can then take them and do that, last 20%, 15% customizations for what your business needs. So that's what we're encouraging employees to do. We have a number of flow templates and flow components and a lot of solutions on AppExchange already as part of the Labs program. And we're really trying to encourage and motivate the employee base to create even more, because we just think flow is an amazing piece of technology for admins to use to help you have your end users save time, because that's also their scarcest resource. And so if we can make things more efficient for everyone across the board, like that's what I call like the triple win. There's something in it for you, there's something in it for the end user, it's something in it for the bigger us. And then like, that's the best of the world right there.
Hat trick. Love it. So I think we already talked a little bit about this. However, as we wrap up, I really want to be able to give admins, like, what is the first thing you should do? Admins that are on this call that maybe haven't gotten into AppExchange before, interested in learning more, what should those admins do next? What's the right place to get started so they can start to be AppExchange rock stars?
Yes. So Trailhead is always my first go-to place for anything. So there's an AppExchange basics trail. If you've never engaged with AppExchange, it's a fantastic place to start. There is a hands-on challenge that actually has you installing a lab solution. So you can actually go through the process of installing a solution if you haven't done one before. There's also on AppExchange, when you go to the landing page, there's also kind of like a shop labs area where you can go check out all the lab solutions. So if you're really looking for something where I can just spin up a dev org and I just want to start installing some solutions just to see what this whole process is like, those are a great place to get started. And then Salesforce Labs is on Twitter. So it's Salesforce _ labs. And, if you follow us on Twitter or check us out, we're always sharing, helpful tips, tricks, collection pages of solutions on different topics and the new solutions that come out. So if you want to stay up to date on like what employees created this past month, we share a video every month of the new solutions that have come out for the Salesforce Labs program, which is a great way to kind of be like, ooh, is there something I want to check out today? I think maybe there is, and then go check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And we'll make sure to include all of those in the show notes. So if you're watching this video, just navigate to the show notes for the article for this video, and all of those links will be there. Sharon, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of your insight into both the work that admins do and how they engage with AppExchange and labs and all of it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to hear people's new adventures with AppExchange and the Labs program and just the connecting with the Trailblazer community. There is endless potential for fun to be had with technology.
Thank you. See you next time. That was awesome. I hope you were all ready to dive into the Salesforce AppExchange, get hands-on with maybe some flow templates or Salesforce Labs apps. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you on the next Expert Corner.